Hi, everybody. Welcome as we get set for basketball. Game number 2, day number 3, 7th game of the Classic. And another Classic. A couple of ranked teams in the Buccaneers of Shelton State. As you take a look at the starters, Bone, Nakona, Hamdi, Obianazi, and Thomas. And meanwhile, for the Titans, that, by the way, the same lineup as a day ago, not true for Eastern Florida. They've got Battle, Elliott, O'Neal, Vieira, and Young. That is a noticeably different lineup than one day ago. Opening points belonging to the Buccaneers. Hodney quickly down the floor. Per instructions from Madonna Thompson is Bone. Misses, and it's back to the Eastern Florida into the floor. A couple of ranked teams that have lost here in the Classic. Shelton State losing to Chipola. Eastern Florida to the host team, South Georgia Tech, yesterday. Obianazi giving to Hamdi. Hamdi with a 3 off the mark. Rebound belonging to Vieira. Off the glass, not there. Nakona coming down with the rebound. First international player ever for Madonna Thompson at Shelton State. On the steal, Hamdi with it. Waiting for the rest of the crew wearing green to make their way to this end of the floor. Thrown away by Nakona. Retrieved on the baseline, a little too strong with the throw. Young doing a balancing act, able to bring it in. Gives it to Battle. Battle from one side of the key to the other. Vieira putting up the 3 off the iron. Tipped away but Battle, but into the hands of Obianazi. Hamdi thinking about the 3. It is tipped away. That will roll off the head of O'Neal and into the awaiting arms of Elliott. A lot of trips from one end of the floor to the other for nothing thus far. Nakona leaning in for 2. And that will give Shelton State an early 4-zip lead. As you've got your second game of the third day underway. Welcome to the hangar, Americus, Georgia. Not too far from Plains, 10 miles away. Home to Jimmy Carter, the now deceased Jimmy Carter, as we, over the course of the next 2 weeks probably, we'll see multiple tributes paid, including a state funeral on the 9th in D.C., and I'm sure there will be something that takes place here in Americus and Plains in his honor, too. What an impact he had. Definitely not just on this area. O'Neal. Drive to the glass, knocked down by Thomas. And Thomas with her first points of the ball game. In the ball game is Azaria Adams. Adams with it down low. Goes out front to Baumgart. Baumgart checking into the game. Couple of changes coming out of the timeout for Eastern Florida. And those are the two, Adams and Baumgart. Too strong with the Obianazi three. Loose ball, Adams retrieves, goes into the corner. Elliott skies one to the glass. It is off the rim and out of bounds, and apparently got, was it O'Neal or Nicolna last? And apparently it was Nicolna. Off the rim for Jenkins, who has checked into the game. That is splashed in by Thomas. And the Buccaneers building a 7-point lead. Love this matchup, not only between teams, but between coaches. Both coaches very animated. Donna Thompson of Shelton State, MJ Baker from Eastern Florida. Nicolna with a miss, but drew the foul. Give it to Baumgart. Nicolna on the opposite end of the floor, turning it into an 11-2 game. O'Neal feeding over to Battle. Off the rim, O'Neal coming down with it and going down. And there is a Buccaneer foul. I believe that is Obianazi. Charged with the infraction. In play to O'Neal. Lob down low and ball coming over O'Neal's back. Young coming back into the game. Vieira into the contest too. Baumgart and O'Neal exiting. And apparently, since we had a dead ball and no media timeout, we coupled that media timeout with one of the previous timeouts. Rebounded by Hobney off the miss. Into the corner to Obianazi. Hobney down low to Nicolna. Battle reaching in, trying to take it away. Brianna Adams checking into the game for the Buccaneers. Shelton State out of Alabama, Eastern Florida, obviously, out of the Sunshine State. In Alabama, Shelton State, I want to believe, has won like 200 consecutive conference games. And just some ungodly number. Very dominant in the ACCC. Bone with a drive, missed the shot. Trying to get the putback is Kimball. And it's Eliana Kimball, the 6'1 sophomore, who is checked into the lineup for Shelton State. Put in play from the baseline. Stolen away out front. That is Nemo with the steal. Back it goes to Nemo. Launches the three. Back into the hands of Adams. Adams misfiring. Rebounded by Kimball. Able to get it over to Hobney. Adams' shot picked up and taken the other way by Vieira. Goes into the corner. Adams feeding down low. Young. And Kimball battling. Kimball winning that battle. Obianazzi into the corner. And the three ball knocked down by Pleasant. Jalen Pleasant. Another one of the Shelton State sophomores contributing to this first half lead of 12. Down to Vieira. Stolen away by Obianazzi. And Pumcourt couldn't get to it, and it'll be Eastern Florida ball. Sylvia Otakagwa into the ball game. I asked Coach Baker prior to the game, okay, tell me how you pronounce Otakagwa, the last name. I thought it was interesting. Coach just kind of matter of factly said, we don't know. We call her by her first name, Sylvia. So maybe I should do the same. You know, the standard in broadcasting is typically last, not first. I guess we can go against the grain. But I'm going to, live on the edge, live dangerously. And work on my own pronunciations. Otaagwa. O'Neal back into the ball game for Eastern Florida. Elliott with a miss, rebounded by the Buccaneers. Fantello to Kimball. Kimball with a miss. Adams able to get it back, goes to Hobney with it. And Pleasant in the corner, feeds to her. She'll put up the 2 and has a quick 5 in the game. Battle with a miss. Rebounded by Kimball. Hobney to Pleasant. Adams with a miss. Down low to Otaagwa. Shot missed. Pleasant able to come up with the rebound and then knocked down by Adams. Thomas back into the game. Adams going on. Yep, there's an Adams on both sides of the floor. And in this particular case, They will exit simultaneously. The Buccaneer Adams and the Titan Adams both leave the floor with a minute to play in the first. Obianazi trying to get it down low to Kimball. Thomas off the glass. Rebounded by O'Neal. Off the iron with Agua with it, giving it to Battle. Elliott from the elbow. Back to Battle, feeds it to O'Neal. Off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Adams. I think that by Obianazi. I know I just said Adams was on the sideline. Just looked like Adams briefly. Kimball getting 2 from the strike. Wow, what a stanza for the Buccaneers. And the Titans go ice cold in the first 10. Buccaneers 18-2 after 10 minutes. That's a South Georgia Tech jet. Sicano eating some potato chips going, can I eat my potato chips? It's probably breakfast here at South Georgia. No, wait a minute. It's late in the afternoon, so it's not breakfast. Well, I guess it could be for a college student, but I'm thinking probably not. Quarter number 2 gets underway in a 18-2 contest. Well, do not expect Eastern Florida to roll over and play dead. They're not ranked number 23 in the country. They haven't been to the national tournament on multiple occasions. Simply by calling it quits after 1. And where the Bucs are concerned, don't expect them to take that foot off the accelerator. They have not won 200 conference games, made multiple trips to the NJCAA national tournament by just saying, okay, we can coast. Nemo with the 3-ball miss, able to get it back. Feeds over to O'Neal. Nicola back into the ball game for the Buccaneers. O'Neal dropping in the 2. One bucket in the opening quarter. That has probably not happened often to an MJ Baker coach team. And by the way, at halftime, we will have some halftime stats for you, as well as a conversation with Dave Elder, the commissioner of the GCAA. Nicola hitting the bucket, drawing the O'Neal foul, and has an opportunity for another. Well, I mentioned there is the first international player for Madonna Thompson, and I would assume, at least for the moment, she's the only international player. Going to have to get the story from Coach Thompson how that came to be, because typically she does recruit primarily within the state of Alabama. Thrown out front, Elliott able to track it down. Over to Battle. She'll hit the bucket from the elbow. Pleasant running the point with Hobdy out. Briefly with it was Jenkins. Loose ball, Young retrieves. It bounced off of Nemo and gave Thomas the opportunity for an easy two. O'Neal splashing it in. Pleasant to Nicola White, open down low. Nicola doesn't miss those bunnies often. Missed that one. Off the glass. Jenkins to the other end of the floor. And there's a foul. And it'll be rolled in from the baseline. Bolton back into the game for the Buccaneers. 6:37 to go in the half. Pleasant into the corner to Bolton. Bolton for three. She's got it. Put back by Young off of the Elliott miss. Into the paint to Thomas. Too strong off the glass. O'Neal grabbing the rebound. That is Vieira. Heading into Battle. Battle with a drive. And that is going to be a personal call on Pleasant. She'll come out of the game. Hobdy will check back in, as Battle will go to the stripe. Hobdy throws it away and is picked off by Elliott. Feeds over to Baumgart. Baumgart with a miss. Vieira with a make from 8 feet away. And that'll go out of bounds off Hobdy. Well, Coach Madonna Thompson is pacing. She did not like the turnover that eventually resulted in points. And then the turnover going out of bounds off Hobdy. Baumgart for three. And on the other end of the floor, you got MJ Baker turning into a cheerleader, cheering on the Baumgart three that cuts it to a 10-point game. And I believe that's got us to the media timeout. A little better than halfway there. What was once 18 trimmed to 6. Trimmed to 10 in a 26-16 game. Just about all Wayne Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. There's like a serious conversation about basketball, I am certain. Well, I mentioned it before. If you were looking for the spot for some great basketball and the extracurricular, here's the place to come to. The extracurricular would be the touristy type things. And the basketball obviously would be the classic. Headed towards halftime in a 10-point game. O'Neal, shot missed. Homney with it. Bone had something to do with the O'Neal miss. Retrieved by Elliott. And a chance for the Titans to turn it into a single-digit game. Battle with a handoff to Vieira. And you got to travel. Just a moment of indecisiveness turning into a walk. Homney gave a look into one corner, goes to the other. Bone with it, bringing it baseline. Gives to Adams, and O'Neal has run over Adams with the offensive. That has got Jenkins up and coming back into the game. And Adams will leave for the Buccaneers. And for the first time today, we've had to call in the services of the gym mop. And another opportunity for Eastern Florida to again get it into single digits. They might at the line. Going to the stripe is Elliott. Bowman going to the sidelines. Pleasant back in for the Buccaneers. Elliott looking for her first points of the game. Couple of misses. And another missed opportunity to turn it into one digit, separating the two. And his palm guard missing on the 3. And it will head out of bounds and belong to the Buccaneers. We've been stuck at 26-16 for a bit. I think we were at 26-16 at the media timeout. And that was a couple of minutes ago. Calling him back into the game. Out will come Kimball. Obianazi puts it in play to Hamdi. Obianazi shooting over O'Neal for 2. Handed to Elliott. Down low it goes to O'Neal. O'Neal with a miss. Nicola coming up with a board. Jenkins with a miss. Out of bounds off the box. It'll belong to the Titans. Young back into the game for Eastern Florida. Vieira picking up the dribble near the elbow, looking for an outlet, gives over to Elliott. Elliott working to the top of the key, feeds over to Battle. Shot clock dwindling. Battle forced to put it up, nibble the rim, but rebounded by Obianazi. Into the corner to Jennings. Jennings with a miss. Or Jenkins, rather. That is Vieira. A little collision. Offensive on Vieira. Ran over Hamdi. Given down low to Nicola, and Nicola draws the foul. Young, the guilty party. Nicola, a very good free throw shooter, 81%. Leading scorer for these Bucks, one of 4 double-digit scores, averaging a little better than 14 per contest. Lead back to 14. Battle going over to Vieira. Bringing it down low off the glass, too strong. Young, blocked by Nicola. O'Neal for 3, and she'll rattle it in. About a second difference between game and shot clock. Taken away by Elliott. And then taken right back by the Bucks. Obianazi. Jenkins for 3. She'll hit it. And that'll do it for the first half of basketball. Buccaneers taking a 14-point lead into the locker room at halftime. We're halfway there. And this battle between 9 and 23 sees a 14-point separation. Dave Elder, the commissioner of the GCAA, our halftime guest in a half minute. Great to have with us as our halftime guest, the commissioner of the GCAA, Dave Elder. Dave Elder, how you doing?
We're filming this on a Monday, and it's been Monday, 3 Zoom calls, a NJCAA football poll call and poll voting, player of the week. I think I probably covered most of it, but it's a good problem to have. Let's put it that way.
It's another Monday, I assume.
And it's always a good day in athletics, even if it's a problem.
Well, a lot of folks don't know that you wear multiple hats, even though you gave away some of your hats in years gone by, like the baseball chair and et cetera. You still have got a multiplicity of jobs beyond commissioner. So what are some of those jobs? I know you work with the football polls. What else?
Well, commissioner, men's region director, football committee member. This is trouble. Beach volleyball. I'm picking up where James Frey left off as a GCA member on beach volleyball. So now I had three last year: skeet shooting, golf, and tennis, and I've been on those. And I just felt like I needed to change something different. I had not served on the football committee. Rob Nielsen at Snow had to roll off as he was taking over as NJCA senior men's administrator. I'll get it out here in a minute. And so I felt it was good for me to hop in there to try to give some support to the independent teams in football, because, Texas is a league, Kansas is a league, Mississippi is a league. And then you've got the four of us, Snow, Lackawanna, GMC, a couple others that we really just have to sort of try to fight to get some recognition there, So doing those things, and so enough to keep me busy. Let's put it that way.
Now, you mentioned the gentleman rolling off of one of the committees. Is an appointment to a committee or as a chair, is it for an allotted time frame, or do you kind of take it on a year-to-year type basis?
No, as region directors, we're able to put in what we'd like to serve on. Now, of course, everybody would love to serve on the baseball committee or the basketball committee, those committees, which are, highly visible committees. But, I've always taken it. I did serve as baseball chair, national baseball chair for 7 years, and I rolled off of it. And I had somebody come up to me at an annual meeting and said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Why are you giving up baseball chair?" I said, "Because I've served for 7 years. It's not something that you're entitled to. Our jobs, because we're our volunteers, are to provide service." And that's the way I looked at it, just like our public service people across the country. If they would probably do that, and I'm not going into politics here, I think we would all be a better place if people would realize what their role is to actually serve, not be served.
Let me put in a amen to term limiting, and I'll stop there. All right, let's talk about football. The fact that not only did you have a GMC this year, but you had a GCAA conference with Andrew College and Central Georgia Tech. How did that go?
It went well. I mean, Georgia, both of those schools, Andrew and Central Georgia Tech, first year, got their feet wet. They played a lot of prep schools, and now we're having some conversations. All right, guys. If you want to be looked at, people will look at this, like the poll committee and everybody else. You were 9-1 Central Georgia Tech, but, you've got to start playing NJCAA schools. And the national office is looking at something. They're having discussions about not counting those non-NJCAA schools when it comes to stats for All-American, those type things, and polls and those things. So it gives more credibility from that standpoint, I understand, but there's also limitations sometimes, because not everybody, for example, like us in Georgia, we don't have the luxury of having 8 football teams, unlike, say, a Mississippi or a Kansas or a Texas like that, where they don't have to travel as much. So, those type things come into play.
The 2 teams that were new, well, in essence, helped create the conference, are they back next year? And is there the possibility of adding more?
They are back. I don't foresee us adding any more. I think what we'll see is the coaches are discussing now. This is okay. We might just end up playing each other on a home and home. For example, this year Georgia Military had Uriah Prep and Clayton State. What will benefit Georgia Military that aspect is to drop 2, and even if it's just playing Clayton State and Andrew again, that looks better on paper from that aspect. So we'll see how that goes. I think they'll keep playing, and I think give them a little bit of time. This is just getting your feet wet kind of year for those 2. But I think moving forward, I got a feeling both of them will look at trying to play a little more difficult schedule and see how – it doesn't benefit them to play a prep team and win 45-0. It doesn't. If you're going to do that, you might as well stay a club team. So I think it'll benefit them to maybe try to play some others, and they might have to travel a little bit more from that aspect.
Obviously, I did not go to Central Georgia Tech or Andrew College, but what are their facilities like, their home stadiums?
Central Georgia Tech has a nice turf field. Andrew's playing on a high school field, so they don't have the luxury of GMC from that standpoint. Davenport Stadium has been there for a long time, but they do. Andrew will probably have to go back and look, because they did have an old football field back on the middle of their campus, and I don't know how they utilize that now. And so I don't know if that'll change for them moving forward or not. We'll just have to see.
All right, basketball-wise, we are into basketball season, so we got to talk a little round ball. Is it in postseason as it has been, where the highest remaining seed after the quarterfinals host both men and women?
That is correct. So we'll have that play-in game on that Tuesday, and I think that's the end of February, 1st of March. We'll have that play-in game, and then the highest remaining seed will host the semis on both sides.
How's the basketball season looking? I know it's very early in the year, or it could be a little later when this is re-aired, but how is the basketball season looking?
Well, right now we're sitting at week 3, just getting going there. A lot of teams are doing some of that non-conference travel. Some of our teams going down to Florida, over in Alabama playing, and reciprocating there. South Georgia State has jumped off to a 4-win and no losses at this point. So we'll see where we are down the road. But, once we come back in the 1st of January, everybody will be jumping into conference play for January and February.
I hear just these little whispers of maybe some regions joining other regions due to maybe a lack of the number of schools. Is there any conversation of Region 17? Is it 17?
That's correct.
Yep. Yes. Okay. My brain at this age, is there any conversation of it absorbing another or vice versa?
Well, what we've got is, we have 11 teams right now, and then 6 of those schools are USG schools, University System of Georgia. And we have no true junior colleges anymore. Okay. They're all 4-year schools. And so really the talk's been going on for probably about 15 years now. I think it's starting to gain a little headway that these schools really need to look at moving up to 4-year status athletically, which would be NAIA. If we lose those 6, then we're down to 5 schools. Andrew's going, they're talking the same thing. So we're looking at our 4 tech schools in Oxford. If that did come to fruition, I can't see where Region 17 would stand as a standalone conference with 5 schools. You look way back in the crystal ball, back into the 70s when Alabama and Georgia were part of the same conference, and then schools grew at that point, and we made 2 separate conferences at that point. Would Georgia fit better going into Region 10, which is the Carolinas and Virginia? I don't think so, because you go from South Carolina all the way up to West Virginia. And if Georgia came into that, that would be much further travel. You look at the schools that would remain, and all this is theoretical right now, okay?
Mhm.
If all those schools that would remain would be west of I-75. So except for, and don't know how Georgia military would fall, because Georgia military is sort of a hybrid in the sense. So don't know how those others would fall. It would make sense because look at it this way. Americus is only an hour from the Alabama border. Central Georgia Tech is basically a little bit more, So I think those would probably end up going that route end up being absorbed there. And the national office has talked about, and preliminary talks about looking at region realignments and those type things. But I also know that has been put on the shelf for like a couple of years. So I don't expect that to happen for a couple of years. Now, even if the USG said they wanted those 4 schools to go ahead and try to move up to the 4-year level, which would be NAI, and they made that jump, then it might be something that the remaining, they might just go ahead and say, hey, y'all need to go ahead and move in on this. So there's a lot of pieces that would have to come together for all this. And like I said, this talk's been going on for 15 years. 15 years from now, if it took another 15 years, I can tell you this, I won't be commissioner of the conference at that point. Somebody else will be. And, 5 years down the road, I don't expect, good Lord willing, that I'll still be doing what I'm doing. I'd like to look forward to enjoying some retirement time. Got 1 grandchild and another one on the way in February. And they've got raising kids and grandchildren backwards, because it sure is a whole lot more fun dealing with grandchildren than it is children, because grandchildren, you can give them back. Children, you can't. You're stuck with them.
Well, now you can't leave the conference, because actually I'm an advocate for changing it from the GCAA to the DAVE.
Well, look, hey, if that were to happen, and like I said, all these are hypotheticals, and I generally do not like to get into hypotheticals, what ifs, because that's where worry comes in with people. People worry about things and they never materialize, and there's a lot of unnecessary angst amongst people in that. As my late father used to tell me, and I think I did this as a young tyke, that I used to worry about things and that I couldn't control, and things might never come to fruition. And so worry about things that you can control, and then God will take care of everything. I firmly believe that. And if that happens, he'll take care of those schools. And then, let's be honest, they'll have to make some hard choices at that point of what they decide to do. Do they want to decide to continue playing? As all our tech schools really just have a couple of teams, So, and our technical school they're workforce driven, which I understand that. That's their mission. I've always been an advocate that athletics can fit in with that workforce-driven mission, and we've had a number of our schools that have proved that. John Watford and South Georgia Tech has been a staunch advocate for us, and I think it's worked for them, and it's brought kids onto that campus in Americus, and then they've moved on to all places across the country. And so, I think things can work. People just have to be open-minded about a lot of stuff.
Dave Elner, we're squeezing you into halftime. It's 15 minutes, and we've taken about 13. So we'll wrap up the conversation. I know we'll talk again, and I know we'll see you in either late February, early March, somewhere in the state of Georgia. We
will, and hey, let's not – softball and baseball, they'll come around, and those seasons will get going in January, and then they'll be playing in May there. So we'll talk about those at a later date.
Dave Elner, Commissioner of the GCAA, thanks for being our halftime guest.
Robert, appreciate you as always, buddy. Thank you.
Second half action gets underway here in the hangar in Americus, Georgia. You've got Battle, Vieira, Young, O'Neal, and Elliott on the floor for Eastern Florida. Same five that started the ball game, and meanwhile the same five starters for the Bucks for half one. Begin things in half two. And that is Thomas, Obianazi, Bone, Nicola, and Hamdi. Wow, that was a pretty good looking shot. Slipping, falling, and hitting. Good combination for Eastern Florida. Obianazi responding on the opposite end with a three. Contact down low. Hamdi called with a blocking foul. Elliott, a 58% free throw shooter, nearly 5 points a game. And by the way, if you were wondering, you're kind of quiet, dude. Well, it is because not only do you hear our feed, but so do the people here in the arena. By apparently some kind of glitch, we are on the big screen here, and it's supposed to be only video, no audio, but we're getting a little bit of both. And I mentioned in the prior game, I'm shy. Okay, there may be more to it. I don't want Mama coming from the other side of the floor up to whoop on the head of an announcer. Well, O'Neal going off the floor with the trainer and heading to the back part of the gymnasium where there is a little more extensive evaluation of an injury. Didn't look particularly serious. Did have a little bit of a limp walking out. Nicola, 1 of 2, rebounded by Otaagua, who has checked into the ball game. That is Battle. And Battle foul. Boy, we've spent the better part of the second half thus far at the stripe. Or either bringing it in for the baseline after a personal. Ontaga giving it to Elliott. Elliott in the paint. Hands over to Young. Young trying to lay it up and in. Rebounded by Thomas. Into the corner to Obianazi, and she hits another three. Vieira with a miss. Hamdi going the other way with it. Into the corner, Obianazi. 2 of 3 in the half from long range, misses that one. Vieira on the other end of the floor, and there is a foul. That'll be charged to Thomas. Well, there are disgruntled coaches on both ends of the floor. The most disgruntled at the moment appears to be Madonna Thompson. Dakota with a rebound off the Vieira miss. Oh, by the way, I was giving you an explanation for why it is quieter than normal from moi on the broadcast. Well, that's the reason, because, I'm just trying to tone it down for the folks here in the house. Over it goes to Dakota. Turn around, Hobney with a miss. Dakota comes up with a block by Young. And the shot clock will end the possession. Well, apparently O'Neal okay. She is back into the ball game. Also checking into the game is Nemo for Eastern Florida. Stolen away by the Buccaneers. Pleasant lobbing it over to Thomas. Trying to get it to Nicola and could not and did not. 18-point Buccaneer lead. Their biggest has been 19. By the way, you saw some of the first half team stats. Taking a look at some individual numbers, top scorers in the first half for the Bucs. Nicola and Thomas both with 9. Top rebounder was Thomas with 6. Stolen away by Elliott. And that is not Elliott, that's Adams. Adams the steal and the lay-in on the opposite end of the floor. The Buccaneer assist leader in the first half was Obianazi with 4. And the most time on the floor in the first half belonged to Hobdy at 15 minutes and 49 seconds. The Titans in the first half, top scorer was O'Neal with 7. The top rebounder, Young, with 6. The assist leader, Baumgart, with 2. And the longest stay on the floor battle, 18 minutes, 36 seconds. As far as foul issues are concerned, in the first half, Adams with 2 for the Titans and Bone with 2 for the Bucs. Bench scoring. Eastern Florida with 3, Buccaneers with 10. Both teams with 7 off turnovers in the first half. Biggest lead was 18. And it became 19 here in the second half for the Bucs. No ties, no lead changes. Rebounded by Obianazi. Gives to Hobdy. Down to Nicola. Back over to Thomas. Hobdy's got it in the corner. Thomas with a miss down low. O'Neal wrapping it up. Adams outside of the yard, gives a down low look into the corner to Battle. Battle with a miss, rebounded by Hobby. Over it goes to Pleasant. Pleasant with a miss. Batting around. Eventually up with it. It is Adams. Into the paint, gets the jump ball with Obianazi. And that'll take us to the media timeout. 42-24 Buccaneer lead with exactly 4 minutes to go in the third. Kind of still munching on some potato chips. And then she's got teammates nearby. I think that's Favero on one end. And I'm not sure who the other... I mean, I see them decked out in basketball garb. And when they're in basketball garb, it is a little different look than when they're in street clothes. That was a definitive, well, I thought it was a definitive shove with the elbow. And that's what Madonna Thompson thought too. Hey, by the way, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think we need 31 to get to 5,500. Plus, kind of added this new feature. I mean, it's off the top of my head, you know, which is kind of what I do most of the time. Fly by the seat of the pants. Kimball couldn't get it to fall. Rebounded by Battle and reaching in, trying to take it away, Obianazi. But with YouTube and on our YouTube channel, you have shorts. With our shorts, we're going to have questions. Let you make the officiating call. Already got one on involving a shot that was taken yesterday. Was the shot made before or after the buzzer? And I think I'm going to put one up from this game. Was that an offensive or defensive foul? You make the call. Blocked by Nemo. O'Neal banking it. Air ball on the Jenkins three. Young giving it over to Paddle. Paddle bringing it to the opposite side of the key to Elliott. 11 on the shot clock. O'Neal giving to Elliott. Ball on the floor. Young's got it. Trying to reach in and take it away. Jenkins. And there'll be a timeout at the 2:04 mark to save the possession. By MJ Baker and company.
South Georgia Technical College, where we make it happen.
Whether your dream is to become a welder, a nurse, a restaurant owner, electrician, or aircraft mechanic, South Georgia Technical College can help you make it happen. SGTC has over 200 associate degree, diploma, and technical certificate of credit programs of study available. Visit our website at southgatech.edu for more information or to apply, or call 800-928-0283.
So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen.
Trio of young men checking on the big screen. I noticed, I guess the guy in the middle would be like me. The first thing he did was check his hair. That was me as a youngster. Is the hair okay? If it's not, I'm not going anywhere. Not getting on the big screen. Take me off the Jumbotron. Over goes to O'Neal, and O'Neal putting up the three. Just kind of realized at the last moment that the shot clock was expiring. In the corner, Pleasant gives it to Adams. Kimball in the charity stripe squares up, down low. Adams, the recipient of the toss. Stolen away by Young. Eastern Florida trying to make a late third quarter run. Narrow the gap in a 42-27 game. And that's dropped in by Battle. Turns it into a 12-point game. Into the corner to Jenkins, puts up the three, and Adams will get a hand on it, and apparently Jenkins. Baumgart coming into the game. Young going out for the Titans. Here comes Claudia Piero Jimenez into the ball game for the Titans. Jenkins with one more. 13-point game. Baumgart on the floor, gives it into the paint. Out front and goes to battle. Too strong with a 3 try from Baumgart. Omianazi feeding it to Thomas. Thomas with the shoot over Jimenez. Not there, but Jenkins put back is. Baumgart for 3 off the iron. And Baumgart held up the progress of Omianazi. Reached in and committed the foul. And Kimball open on the other end of the floor. And maybe not a particularly bad foul. It stopped the fast break. And a relatively easy 2. And it's dropped in by Pleasant. At the buzzer to extend the lead as we head into quarter number 4. Fourth quarter action underway. Taking it to the glass. Elliott. Shot missed. Thomas with the rebound. Hands it over to Homney. And there's a little hip action from Elliott. Adams coming into the game. Out of the game is Elliott for Eastern Florida. Omianazi puts it in play to ball as we resume fourth quarter action. 18-point Buccaneer lead. Each time it appears that the Titans are maybe on a roll that will get them back into the ball game. Bucks push it back out by 18 or more. And now they've got their biggest lead of the game. Baumgart giving it to Battle. Eastern Florida has got to score more points in the fourth than they have in any other quarter. And Battle starts it with 2 from down low. So over to Nicole now. Obianazi. A little bit short of the 2-try, rebounded by O'Neal. Down to the corner, Jimenez, back to O'Neal. And O'Neal with a long 2. Omni with it, top of the key, bring it into the right side. Takes it to the glass, and it will roll around the cylinder and drop in. $18-point lead, Buccaneers. And a 16-point lead after 1. And 1 point in the third quarter by 18. And 1 point in the fourth by 20. Jimenez with her first couple of points in the game. Stolen away by Vieira. And lead trimmed to 14. And still plenty of time left in this one, but Nkola wide open down low. Young with a miss. Nkola wraps up the rebound. Outlet to Hamdi. Nkola with a drive, and there is a foul. And the 81% free throw shooter to the stripe. Nkola, as we mentioned previously, very good free throw shooter, doesn't miss often. Hits both there. He's got it out front, lobs into the corner. Bones sending it down low to Thomas. It'll be rejected by Otaagua, but there is a foul. And contact on the opposite end of the floor. Foul called on, I think that's Obianazi. Thomas with the rebound off the miss. 5:20 left to play in this one. And it's back out to a 19-point Buccaneer lead. In the corner, Bone. And the Bucks just continue to add to their biggest advantage. 22-point lead. O'Neal took a tumble. And it is Hobney that apparently committed the O'Neal meeting with the hardwood. And that's got us to the last media timeout of the game. 22-point Buccaneer lead. Less than half of the fourth to go. Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Craps got it. Long throw over, and he got it. Well, he made the big screen. It'll make any young man happy. .444 to play. Tell you what would make the Buccaneers happy would be coming away with their 10th win of the year. What would make the Titans ecstatic would be a come-from-behind fourth-quarter win. Let's see how many happy folks we have in the hangar this afternoon. Off the glass for Kimball, who has checked into the game. Omianazi able to rebound the missed shot over to Bone. And Bone's got another three. And the Buccaneers technically pulled away early in the first quarter. They're just continuing to expand the lead. Three-second violation, turnover. State and State coming up. Daytona and Chattanooga in the last game of the day. Bone apparently, well, I thought she had dribbled out of bounds, but apparently it was a push, and Bone with the foul. In play to O'Neal. Baumgarten giving the battle. Putting it on the floor, into the paint, just inside the strike. Rebounded by Thomas off the miss. Gives over to Pleasant. In and out with a three try. That was Bone with a miss. Lob down low to Thomas. Got the positioning, but couldn't get the shot to drop. And that was Kimball, by the way. Baumgart banks it. Thomas putting up the three. Heck, everybody's hitting threes. Baumgarten with a miss. Put back not there for Nemo. Rebounded by Kimball. Thomas trying to bank him in two. Pleasant got the putback. And a timeout on the floor. It will be asked for by Eastern Florida. "90 seconds to play. Buccaneers less than 2 minutes away from their 10th win of the year. One minute, 35 seconds left to play in this one. But to Agua with a miss, able to get it back. Buccaneers, by the way, have put some new faces on the floor. That is Maddie Grace Parrish, who has checked into the game. Also, Layla Davis coming in. So Davis and Parrish, I don't think we saw yesterday against Chipola. Into the ball game for the final 90 seconds of this one, which of course down to about 35 ticks on the clock. Off the rim for Baumgart. Jimenez with it. And it looks like this will be our final score. 68-44. It is Shelton State coming away victorious, picking up their 10th win of the year. Back-to-back losses, that's a rarity for Eastern Florida. Losing yesterday to South Georgia Tech, today to the Buccaneers. Thanks so much for watching. A game to go on your next to the last day of the Classic. Battle of the States, Chattanooga and Daytona. That's about 20 minutes away.